My fellow Cristo Reyans, welcome to the podcast. In the spirit of democracy, we've got members of Student Council right here with us. We've gathered them together to discuss their future plans. To moderate is Student Council Treasurer Paris.
Yep, you heard that right. I am Paris, the Student Council Treasurer and one of your fabulous CRC podcast hosts. I'm here with my other hosts,
Liam,
and Ashley.
If you haven't heard, there's this little thing called the presidential election happening on Tuesday. We thought this would be a good time for our listeners to meet our very own student government, led by the Student Council officers.
Hi, this is Allison, the President of Student Council.
Hey, it's Francisco, Vice President.
Hello, this is Dorcas, the Secretary.
And we're here to give you guys another Cristo Rey Columbus High School podcast episode. So why don't we get started? What's the first question you guys have for us?
So just curious, because a lot of us were wondering, what does the student council actually do?
So what don't we do? There's a lot of things the Student Council does. One of the biggest things is basically representing the student body. So we basically kind of hear all of what the students want, their concerns and everything, and we try to make as much positive change for them towards admin and everything. And would you guys like to add on to it?
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of the things that students sort of don't realize aren't run by administration themselves, like the school dances, a lot of fundraisers and after-school activities during the Heritage Months. A lot of those things, if not all of those things, are run by Student Council and planned out by us. Obviously with approval or help from administration, but if it wasn't for us, it would either be on a really low budget or not happen at all.
Yeah.
So
you could kind of think of Student Council as just like the bridge between student and admin. So a lot of the things, like one very long-standing request from students was to have nose rings be available, and you guys probably heard it in a different podcast that we talked about. But now nose rings are allowed, and that's because of a really strong push from Student Council from many, many years of just trying to cooperate and meet in the middle with admin. So that's a lot what we do. Just like Francisco said, we also plan a lot of the dances and stuff.
so what do you guys do individually inside of Student Council? Like, I know Paris is Treasury and Francisco's the Vice President, but what do you actually do inside of your roles?
Oh, for starters, for the president, most of my roles are basically a lot of planning, a lot of communication with teachers, like students, and trying to really figure out how I can manage my team and how we can really work together and figure out what ideas would work with each other, what things don't work out, and to overall, I'm the one who oversees everybody, so I just kind of tell them oh, let's do this, let's plan this out, and then I had to get approval from admin, and then we work it out, and if anybody has any questions or anything, I kind of try to guide them a little bit on that, so it's really good.
Yes, my president.
as Vice President, honestly, it's a little, I guess, it's not as big of a role as some of the other positions, but it's honestly just the second in command or the president's number two. If Allison can't be at a meeting for some reason, I would be the one in charge. Or if Allison needs any help with anything, especially in admin meetings, I'm always there to back her up if she needs help. And then I do my best to help out everyone else, especially the officers. If they got a lot on their plate, which often there is, I'm just there to help out as well.
Yeah, so I recently even asked for Francisco's help, so Vice President is a really important role as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, so I hope that he sees that he's appreciated.
This is Mr. Loxer LaHanf with your Theology Minute for All Saints Day. All Saints Day is celebrated on November the 1st, and it's a time to think about the men and women who have come before us, who have died and are with God in heaven. Their lives are examples for how to live and how to live the faith in many different eras of the church, whether it was in the first few centuries or even in the last few years.
I am the secretary, and I do a lot of, I am together with the HR committee, so I do a lot of the emails. I connect with Ms. O'Connell about the events that we're doing, make sure that everything is set and we have everything covered, make sure that the supplies and all are available to us at that time, and also just make sure that the self-esteem of the Student Council is great. So I try to encourage them and also make sure that they're on task.
So last but definitely not least, treasurer is usually going to be the leader of the fundraising committee, which is how we did it this year. So I'm going to be in charge of looking at our funds, knowing how to best allocate those funds, and kind of managing dances, just seeing how much we're putting into dances and other events that we do and how much we're also going to get out. So just really just looking over the funds in the treasury and how we can best use that to benefit us, admin, as well as the student body.
So how long have you guys been doing student council, and why did you guys join?
So for me, this is actually my second year. So I just wanted to be able to like get more like connected with the students and see what like they wanted as in change, and I really wanted to make like a positive impact for the school. So not only did I really want to like make sure the teachers and students had a good like relation as like together, but also with their own student council, and just to figure out like how student council works and see how I could like figure out what I would do best to like make things work out for like students, and if they want to create positive change, I would like figure out ways to do that as well. So like for example, like homecoming last year, how it was last year, we're trying to figure out how we can really make it up to like the standards of students, but also make it so that it would be like good for both like the officers and the students at the same time. Yeah.
For me, this is my third year. Hopefully next year will be my fourth. I think as I was coming in as a freshman, I always had the idea that I wanted to be part of student council, because I've always had the idea of like helping people, and I knew that student council would probably be my best bet at doing that. So it started off as a representative, and I guess last year I just decided that I wanted to take up a bigger role and become vice president.
For me, I was part of the student council freshman year as well, and then on my sophomore year, I wasn't part of it, and then now I'm back as one of the officers. So that's my history there, and I'm just hoping to be able to benefit the school and also to improve student council's operating system.
Yeah, so me, this is my third and final year on student council because I'm a senior. I joined my sophomore year, and the reason why I didn't join my freshman year is because I don't know, I was kind of slacking a little. I got some B's where I probably could have got some A's, and in general, I just wasn't really pushing myself to do too much, especially since I felt like I kind of like to fade in the background when it comes to group settings. But my sophomore year, I kind of shifted, especially after taking harder classes like AP US History. I saw my potential. So me and my other friends decided to join student council, and then, we decided to run for officers together. And it just kind of like progressively got more and more where I was pushing myself to, one, be in a leadership role, and two, just kind of be the best that I can be and serve my students as well.
Hey guys, it's Diary. November is Native American Heritage Month. We recognize Native American Heritage Month in order to celebrate and acknowledge the achievements and culture of natives in America. A few ways you can celebrate this month are visit a Native American historical site, do some research on which indigenous land you are living on by texting your zip code to the number 907-312-2085 and spreading the awareness of the importance of this month to family and friends. Remember to listen to indigenous stories and fight for their rights and recognition always, not just in November.
So, like, what's your favorite and, like, your least favorite thing about being on student council?
I think for me, it's really just getting to connect with everybody and just making, like, just communicating and being like, hey, how can I help you out? Or, just trying to, like, work out things with, like, admin and students. So I really like that, but another thing that I really do like is organizing and having like systems that we can work with. So if we ever have an event or if we ever need like things to catch up like on, like we have like a whole like Google Classroom and stuff, and we like set up everything. So I really just like to make things a lot easier for like the reps and the officers, so that we're not like doing things like last minute, and we're all really like caught up and on track and ready to go.
I think for me, like Allison said, it's just my favorite thing is just being able to help people, especially the students, because that's what it's really about. I guess my least favorite thing, like you said, should I say lack of participation? I really want students to be happy and want to do things as a school, and I think sometimes it is a bit like bumming out when students talk negatively when all we want is from them to be happy as a school.
I definitely feel that, I'm not gonna lie. Personally, My favorite thing about being on student council is just feeling like I'm a part of something bigger, and knowing that, especially as an officer, certain decisions that I make are just way more influential than, some decisions I might make if I wasn't on student council. So that's really nice to know and feel that I'm actually, making a change in the school. I say my least favorite is part of what Francisco said, just, it kind of bumps us out when we hear that, some of the students didn't like some of the things that we did or feel like that we need to be doing more. But another big part of it is this is much more personal and less to do with my actual position. I'm involved in a lot of other things as well. And it's funny because I was going to pick up something else that was going to be really task heavy. And then a staff member stepped in and was like, I don't think you should. So the negative thing is checking myself and making sure that I'm doing what I can do best in the role and not get so caught up in my own world and everything else that I'm doing.
Yeah, so for me, my favorite thing is that I am growing in leadership skills. That's one thing I really wanted to do as I started as a freshman, and I have succeeded to grow that at work and even at school, everywhere. And also, I just want to keep myself productive a lot. So giving myself tasks is good, but also making sure that I do that in moderation and everything. My least favorite, it can be the same there, but one of them is that sometimes work gets in the way of some of the members coming to the meetings, and that's sometimes a problem. And so it's pretty much my least favorite right now.
And to add on to like everybody else's, I also do agree that I really don't like when students talk negatively about themselves, because they don't see how much potential and things that I see from other students. Some people, I could just walk down the hallway and they just speak so bad about themselves, and I'm like, don't do that. You don't realize how much you have done and how much you have grown from a couple years back to now. And I just want students to really realize that they have that potential, and their mistakes or anything that happened back then, it doesn't have to define them now, because that can really be a growing pattern. I just want students to really be more positive about themselves. So
Yeah, I like that you added that. That's one of the reasons why one of my goals is to encourage a lot of people, because I saw that the self-esteem is decreasing a lot around here.
Yeah.
And so I feel like the school needs to be lifted up. And so that's going to be one of the biggest things. And also I do want to mention about the students' complaints. We did recently add a suggestion form, a suggestion QR code in the cafeteria. So if you want to send us a suggestion, you can just scan it with your phone, and that will send us one, and we will review it accordingly.
Hey Cougars, it's me, Cesar from class of 2026. This coming Friday is the last day teachers can accept work for progress reports, and you'll have access to progress reports the following week, which is 11/14. Some things I can advise to do is do any missing work, take any retake tests if provided, and study for any future tests. Encourage yourself and encourage others. You guys got this. Cougars climb.
There's a big part of student council that is also deeply personal with the other students, because yes, we do a lot of management and planning, but our job is to also be a positive impact on the students, and that also comes with mentally and physically and emotionally. So yeah, I've definitely been in those dark spaces before, so it can be kind of disheartening to hear some students not really feel like they could really reach their best potential, because like I said before, it took me a second to realize, hey, I can actually do this and probably do good at it,
So my question is, you do a lot of events. Do you guys get a sense of satisfaction when they go off well or good among the students?
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. Oh my gosh. Oh, I should have said that was my favorite part, because I get so much happiness when I hear people say oh, this dance was really cool, or we really like this. And because we do work really hard, because administration and students kind of have different goals when it comes to these events. So knowing that, okay, we got everything passed through admin without any complaints, and the students are happy too, that just means that we completed our job. Like I was saying before, we're the bridge. So making sure that the bridge is intact and nobody feels like they got the short end of the stick, it's really great.
I really like the bake sale events. Those are so cool.
Oh, yeah.
You guys do those? I love those.
Honestly, one of my favorite days last year was the what Mr. Corrigan used to do every year.
The International Night?
International.
Yes.
Actually,
Oh
that
my
was one of my
gosh.
favorite days, just because I felt like it really felt like we were a community coming together to celebrate everybody, and like students were genuinely happy with it, and that, you know, it made me feel really proud of what we had done, because it took a lot of planning, and, you know, there were a couple setbacks, but we persevered and it worked out really well.
Yeah, I really like that too. For me, I wasn't part of it last year, but I did get elected towards the end, and that's when International Night happened. So I got to help out with a lot of stuff there, and I also bring food for people to try. So it was really nice to get people talking, and I bring food from Asian food, so it was nice that I could share people some of my skills in cooking, which I really like. So.
I agree. I think for me, yeah, like seeing plans really go well and hit that equilibrium between like teachers and students, like makes me so happy. And not only just because like I see like students be like, oh, like we actually had fun and it was really fun and stuff, but also because I like seeing like the reps and the officers also see that their hard work was like really great and it was worth like, you know, all that stress and everything. But in general, like for me last year, my favorite event was like planning out prom. And I got to like go help out, decorate, and even like a lot of students like throughout the night as I was watching, you know, like their stories and everything, they had a lot of fun, and that felt really like accomplishing because we're like, okay, that took like months of planning, but it went really well. Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Jade. Don't forget that this weekend daylight saving times ends. That means you need to set your clocks back 1 hour. It also means that on Sunday there will actually be 25 hours in that day. What are you going to do with that extra hour? I think since it's a weekend, it's the perfect time to relax and chill. Maybe watch a new movie.
I don't know. Even Paris, underestimated how much hard work really does go into student council, because all students really see is just the events. And even as a rep, you don't really get to see, like, yes, you're a part of planning, of course, but you don't really get to see, like, all the emails you have to send out or all the, you know, making sure we're on time for everything. Like, you don't really get to see all that. So it just makes things even, like, 100 times more rewarding, especially since I'm just starting my officer position, so I already know it's going to be a lot.
Yeah, because as we're all learning to adjust with our positions and everything, we're working together as officers, and each of us are helping each other out on all the tasks and everything. And one of the things that I do like about student council, especially this year, because we're starting to make it more formal in the meetings and everything, is that I feel like as if I can experience the job like of presidents around the world, Allison and Francisco can feel just even a little bit of vice president, and you can feel a little bit of the treasury job, and I can feel a little bit of the secretary job, and that just shows that we're growing in experience, and that is something I really like.
Just like a mini government.
Yeah. Exactly. It's really
honestly.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
What would be a government by the students called?
Student government.
Student government.
Maybe we could do something more creative, but
student council featuring students.
That seems a bit redundant.
So basically, like, what advice would you give for somebody, like, especially the freshmen, for somebody who would want to like run for student council?
Ooh, okay. For me, I'll be really honest. I was actually really scared to run because at the time when I was debating whether or not to run for president, I wasn't sure if I was really capable of being a president, or, you know, having the support of like my amazing officers now, or like just in general having like the student body being able to like support me and stuff. But I say just take the risk. Even if you don't achieve what you wanted to achieve, always take the risk. Because if I didn't run back then, I would never have known that like I was capable of doing so much stuff and like being able to be there for others, my officers, my reps, and even teachers. I just say take the risk and never let your fears of doubt get to you, because you never know. Like, just always take the risk.
I definitely resonate with that. That was well said, Allison.
Thank you.
My president.
Are there any events you are looking forward to planning this year?
Yeah, the recent one right now is the pep rally.
Okay, so for the seniors, you've had a little bit more than a semester left. What are you looking forward to in student council for the rest of the year?
Student council, I really hope that everything that we have like progressed on, like for student council, like, you know, just in general, like the vibes and like the organization and the system that we have input keeps on going for more years and more years to go, like continue on and, for like the next like future student council, they would probably use our ideas and think that it was useful and that it was really great and continue to do that as well.
I am really intrigued to really, like Allison said, just see how things develop after we're gone. I'm going to try to stay connected with the school, so see how the student council is afterwards. But, just hope that everything goes well and the things that could have been better. I'm excited to see how the new officers are planning on, or would be planning on, fixing that, and the things that did go well, see how they felt about that. And just in general, just see everything evolve and grow. That's really what I'm most excited about. I'm kind of excited to plan prom, but I feel like that's going to be very task heavy and, kind of stressful, but yeah.
Hey guys, it's Jason. Are you interested in science? Are you looking to join a club? Then why not join a science club? A club about science. Right after school on November 6th, Science Club will be taking a field trip to Ohio State for special activities to learn all about drones. All are welcome, but you will need a signed permission slip to go. See Ms. Bauman to get the slip. Until then, stay sciencey.
So what would you guys say to like the next president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary of student council?
I can start because I've already experienced it a lot already, even though it's already the start of the year. One of the things is to make sure that you ask the president about like your roles so that you can understand it very well, because you're going to slowly start to realize you have a lot to do, and some of the things you might not realize that's what you have to do. So you're going to tell them, oh, is this task for me or something, so that there's clarity, and then that you can start the task and everything. And usually the secretary has HR. I think that's been the case for since it started, and it makes total sense because that's what they're used to. And so I would advise you to be able to have at least like a planner and to be able to stay in contact with the moderators. For us, it's Ms. O'Connell, and also for you to be able to have time to settle down and have free time for yourself, because there is a lot of things to do for secretary. So
I say to the future treasurer, one, make sure that you have enough time or is able to make enough time to dedicate yourself to the position, because treasurer, especially during certain points of the year, there might not be as much for you to do. So just make sure that you're still staying on track and not turning your head away too much, because if you do, it gets really easy to get behind. Also, if you do have less things to do, just try your best to help the other positions out, because at the end of the day, it is just like a big team, and it's not just the vice president's job to see where other members can need help. If you could help the secretary or the president or the vice president in anything, see if you could do that. And last but not least, communicate to your fundraising community and allocate tasks as much as possible. Don't just give them everything, but don't feel like you have to do everything by yourself. Communicate to the person who, Ms. Pettigrew, who you can get your information from, what the funding is looking like. Communicate to your president, communicate to your other members, just communicate to everyone, constantly update about where we're looking, and just try your best to have fun with it, because I think treasury and the fundraising committee can be really fun if you make it fun.
For the future vice president, I would just say to really be in it for everyone else. You have a big role, but it's really about being a team player. So I think you just have to be ready to put yourself out there and be ready for anything that comes, because no matter how many to-do lists you have, no matter how many calendars you have, a lot of things will go unplanned or not according to plan. So it's just really, keep an open mind and be ready for anything that might come, and just be ready to help.
Yeah, there's only so much you can predict. Especially in student council, there's going to be a lot of things that's just going to, I wasn't expecting that. Oh, that person could have come. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Hi guys, it's Pure. We hope you're enjoying this interview with the student council officers. Of course, one of the student council's biggest projects is the homecoming dance, which was absolutely stunning this year. This homecoming was the definition of ending with a bang. As a senior this year, I got to experience the past 4 years of homecoming, luckily, and though they were great, not a single one of them could hold a candle this year's. As a freshman, our homecoming was outside in the fishbowl, which it was really fun, but it was cold out, and there wasn't much of an atmosphere because you can't really do too much outside. Sophomore year, on the other hand, was inside of the school, and it was actually too hot because he was inside of the gymnasium. It's kind of cramped and got a little hot after a while. And then last year as a junior, it was in the same place as it was this year, but the atmosphere was off. The decorations weren't really the best. But this year, a mixture of it all, the temperature was perfect, the decorations were A1, and it didn't feel like a bunch of kids awkwardly dancing in the dark. It felt passionate. It felt nice. I was happy to be a part of it. The music taste was superb as well. It was a truly magical experience. And although I'm really sad to see this part of my life go, I'm really happy to have experienced it. This being my last homecoming, I have a lot of things to think about. Like, I should probably get some dance lessons. Because though it was 4 years of having a good time, it might not have been a good time for anyone else trying to see me dance. But drifting away from this homecoming season, we gotta remember to party hard, Cougars. I hope to see you guys soon.
And for the future president, I would say early on, really get to learn about the history of student council. That's one of the biggest things I would say. Get to, looking back at all the past years of, the student council members, what they did, what they were, really aiming for, understand how student council was before and how you want to, change it to your own stuff and your own goals. I really do agree that communication is one of the biggest things that really does help. And understand that even though there could be, a lot of things that, come up, as Paris says, there could be a lot of switch-ups, a lot of turbulences, always be prepared to adapt to it. Understanding of, things happening, but also know, what move to go on to, next. And understand that, yeah, you are a president, you should, keep your head up and, be positive, but also understand that you can rely on your representatives and officers, and don't leave them in the shadows. Always be there for them. Always catch up with them, touch bases on, different things, see what everybody's, comfortable with, and really get everybody involved. Even if it's, representatives or, just in general officers, always try to get them involved together and just make them feel seen. But, yeah, overall, just be positive and stay afloat.
And one last thing I wanted to add on to everything is remember that you got elected for a reason. I feel like especially in leadership positions, it could be really easy to feel inadequate and that, oh, this person should have won instead of me. So just always remember that the students picked you for a reason. You're in this position for whatever circumstances may have happened for a reason because people thought that you would be good at the role. So just let that lead you when you do tasks and you're trying to brainstorm things or you're having a brain fart or whatever. Just let that lead you in knowing that you have potential, other people saw potential within yourself, so it must be there.
Yep, and adding on to that, always know that it is a possibility, so always take that risk. Don't let your fears get to you, just take the risk.
Yeah, I love that Paris did that. For my election, it was really weird. The reason I say that is last year I was running for treasurer, and so Paris got that, but then the person who won for secretary, she had another role in a club, and so they gave it to me. And instead of me just being like, oh, I didn't get elected for it, whatever, but I remembered, well, I took the risk for treasurer, and that is something, and that I honestly think I'll be better as a secretary than a treasurer. And so I was like, oh, yeah, it's God's plan. I really feel like that, like it was, because I see that Paris is a way better treasurer than I can.
Oh, no, don't say that, no.
No, really. And so I am really happy to be secretary, and I am really happy to be able to grow a community in student council. And team members, the student members are really great. They're trying, especially Marley, who's in my HR committee for Club Fair. We're trying to do table arrangements, and so she's just kept on going on and on and on and just changing it because there's so much changes and she hasn't complained once. So that is a real blessing and everything. So, yeah.
As some of you guys are stressed out about the presidential election that's happening on Tuesday, you guys shouldn't be so stressed out because here at Cristo Rey we have our own student council that's very great and amazing.
It will rule the world.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening, though, to the Cristo Rey Columbus podcast. Bye.
Bye. You have been listening to the Cristo Rey podcast. You've been listening to the Cristo Rey podcast.